Okay, so we're in Mishpatim, and we previously read um, about um, the giving of the Ten Commandments, the giving of the Torah, and now we're reading in Mishpatim is Hebrew for, I believe, um, I think like judgment, if I'm not mistaken. Judge, yeah, these are the judgments. Yeah, judgments. So we'll read, and you want to begin?
Yeah.
Okay, so chapter 21, verse chapter 21, verse 1. Let's go.
Okay. And these are the ordinances that you should place before them. If you buy a Jewish bondsman, he should work for 6 years. And on the seventh, he should go free for no charge. If he should arrive by himself, he should live by himself. If he is the husband of a woman, his wife shall live with him. If his master will give him a woman, and she bears and sons or daughters. The wife and her children shall belong to her master, and he shall go out by himself. But if the bondsman shall say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, and shall not go free, then his master shall bring him to the court, and shall bring him to the door or to the doorpost. And his master shall bore throughout his ear with the oath, and he shall serve him forever. If a man will sell his daughter as a bondsman, she shall not live like the lead taking of the slaves. If she is displeasing in the eyes of her master, who shall have designed her for himself, he shall assist in her redemption. He shall not have the power to sell her to a strange man, for he does betray her. If he had designed her for his son, he shall deal with her according to the rights of the young woman. He shall take another in addition to her. He shall not diminish her food, her clothing, or her marital relationship. He does not perform the street for her. He shall not break of charge without payment. One who strikes a man so that he dies surely he be put to death. But for one who has lion and ambush and God has caused it to come to his hand, I shall provide to you a place to which he shall flee. If a man shall act intentionally against his fellow to murder him, we go. From my altar shall you take him to die.
So I'm just gonna stop you there, and I'm gonna go over what you've been reading. So you read about the bondswoman, the bondsman, and that's basically like, in a form, I believe it's like slavery, but not in the form, not in the way you think of slavery, like American slavery. The slavery that is spoken in the Hebrew, in the Tanakh, in the Bible, in the Torah, is not of the slavery that America did. It's definitely total opposite. It's not a sinful form of slavery. If you, that's the only way. That's the best way I can put it. Basically it's even there are nations, or there are families or nations who God has appointed, even who God has appointed to be servants to Israel. And in this case, these are slaves who either have spent their 7 years as slaves, and then they can go free, or who want to keep being slaves, because like I said, it's not a sinful form of slavery, so there's basically no reason that no negative reason why a slave, why someone, a bondsman or bondswoman would want to leave in regards to negativity, or being abused, or being abused. So, and then now it's talking about when someone kills or murders, there's going to be or there's a place there needs to be a land where this murderer, this killer, can flee to for safety, before judgment, before court issued judgment. And we'll keep reading, and you'll read about that. So you want to keep going, or you want to go? Okay, verse 15. Right?
Yeah. I'm going with you.
You read up to the next chapter, chapter 22.
One who strikes his father or mother shall surely be put to death. One who kidnaps a man and sells him, and he was found to get pain in his power, shall surely be put to death. One who curses his father or mother shall surely be put to death. If men quarrel and one strikes his fellow with stone or with a pest, and he does not die but falls into bed, he get up and goes about outside under his own power, the one who struck is absolved. Only for his lost time shall he pay, and he shall provide for healing. If a man shall strike his slave or his maidservant with a rod, and he shall die under his hand, he shall surely be avenged. But if he will survive for a day or two, he shall not be avenged, for he is his property. If men shall fight and they collide with a pregnant woman, and she miscarries, but there will be no fatality, he shall surely be punished, as the husband of the woman shall cause to be assessed against him. And he shall pay it by order of judges. But if there shall be a fatality, then you shall award a life for a life, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, a hand for a hand, a foot for a foot, a bone for a bone, a wound for a wound, a bruise for a bruise. If a man shall strike the eye of his slave or the eye of his maidservant, and destroy, he shall set him free and return for his eye. And if he knocks out the two of his slave, the two of his maidservant, he shall set him free and return for his tooth. If he an ox shall gore a man or woman, and he shall die, the ox shall surely be stoned. Its flesh may not be eaten, and the owner of the ox shall be innocent. But if it was an ox that goes habitually from yesterday and the day before yesterday, and his owners have been wounded but did not ordered, and it killed a man or woman, the ox shall be stoned, and even his owner shall die. When atonement payment shall be assessed against him, he shall pay as a redemption for his life. Whatever shall be assessed against him, whether it gores a boy or it gores a girl, and accordance with this judgment shall be done to him. If the ox shall gore a slave or a maidservant, 30 silver shekels shall he give to his master, and the ox shall be stoned. If a man shall uncover a pit, or if a man shall dig a pit and not cover it, and an ox or a donkey falling into it, the owner of the pit shall make restitution. He shall return money to its owner, and the carcass shall be his. If one man's ox shall strike his fellow ox which dies, they should sell the living ox and divide its money and the carcass too. Should they divide? But if it becomes known there was an ox that had bought habitually from yesterday and before yesterday by its owner did not water it, he should pay an ox in place of the ox, and the carcass shall be his. If a man should steal an ox or a sheep or goat, and slaughter it or sell it, he should pay five cattle. 5 cattle in place of the ox, and 4 sheep in place of the sheep.
All right, so we just read laws that basically pertain to man and man, man between man. This Torah portion is full of wonders, full of judgment, or full of judgments, or let me go. Oh, Shemos, Mishpatim, yeah. I'm gonna try to Mishpatim. Okay. So yeah, these are the judgments. Wherever it says these in the Torah. So this is God speaking, I believe, to Moshe, and Moses is presenting all these judgments through the word of Hashem to the Israelites. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
God is speaking to Moses, and through God, Moses is speaking, or through Moses, God is speaking to the Israelites, and telling them of these judgments. And these are very important judgments regarding relational, or man and man. All right, so 22. Chapter 22, I will begin to read. If the thief will be found in an underground passage, and he is struck and dies, there is no blood for him. If the sun shone upon him, he has blood. He shall surely pay if he has nothing. He shall be sold for his theft. If the theft will be found in his hand, from an ox to a donkey to a lamb, he shall pay 2 live ones. When a man will lead an animal to a field or a vineyard, whether he set loose his animal or it grazed in another's field, the best of his field and the best of his vineyard shall he pay. So this is teaching on making restitution, repaying back what was stolen, what was destroyed. So this is regarding paying restitution. When a fire will go forth and find thorns, and a stack of grain or a standing crop or a field will be consumed, the one who kindled the fire shall surely pay. When a man will give money or vessels to his fellow to safeguard, and it is stolen from the house of a man, if the thief will be found, he shall pay 2. If the thief will not be found, then the householder shall approach the judges with the claim that he had not laid his hand upon his fellow's property. For any sinful word, for an ox, for a donkey, for a sheep, for a garment, for any lost item about which he will say that it is this, to the judges shall come both their claims. Whomever the court finds guilty shall pay 2 to his fellow. When a man will give to his fellow a donkey or an ox or a sheep or any animal to safeguard, and it died, or it was injured, or it was seized, but there is no eyewitnesses, there shall be an oath of Hashem between the 2 of them, that he did not lay his hand upon the property of his fellow. And the owner shall accept it, and he shall not pay. if it will be stolen from him. So basically, if it's just an accident, or if it's not the if let's say I lend you something to hold on to for me, like if I had a horse and I gave it to you to hold on to it for me, and somebody came and stole the horse, it's not your fault. It's not your fault because you didn't do anything. So then you and I should make an oath of agreement, an oath together of agreement, and you, out of mercy, Hashem's mercy, you don't have to repay me what I lost and what was taken. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hashem between. If it will be stolen from him, he shall pay to its owners. If it will be torn to. When a man will give to his fellow a donkey or an ox or a sheep or any animal to safeguard, and it died or it was injured or it was seized, but there is no eyewitnesses, there shall be an oath of Hashem between the two of them, and that he did not lay his hand upon the property of his fellow. And the owner shall accept it, and he shall not pay. If it will be stolen from him, he shall pay to its owners. Oh, so if it is stolen, if it will be torn to death, then he shall bring testimony. He shall not pay for the torn animal. So if it is stolen, then yeah, he has to pay to the owners. Then I made a mistake. So if the animal is stolen, and I gave you the animal to hold for me, then you would have to pay me if it was stolen from you. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if the animal that I told you to hold on to for me, if the horse that I told you to keep and hold on to for me and watch, if it was torn to pieces by a wolf or a mountain lion, like an animal, a wild beast, then you don't have to pay me anything. That's more natural than theft. When a man will, ready? Verse 13, chapter 22, I'm going to read. When a man will borrow from his fellow and it will become injured or will die, but its owner is not with him, he shall surely pay. If its owner is with him, he shall not pay. If it is hired, it came in return for its rental. When a man will seduce a virgin who was not married and lie with her, he shall establish the marriage price for her as his wife. If her father refuses to give her to him, he shall weigh out silver according to the marriage price of the maidens. You shall not allow a sorceress to live, a sorceress is like a witch, for an example, or someone who practices sorcery, magic. You know what sorcery is? It's like magic, it's like magic. It's like magic. Someone who practices magic shall not live. It's a form of magic. That's the only way I can explain it. But sorcery is like kind of like a magic. And that is not allowed in God's Torah, in God's laws, not to do any of that. Anyone who lies with an animal shall surely be put to death. One who slaughters to the gods shall be destroyed only but to Hashem alone. You shall not abuse a stranger, and you shall not oppress him, for you are strangers in the land of Egypt. You shall not persecute any widow or orphan. If you will persecute him, for he will cry out to me, I will surely hear his cry. My anger will burn, and I shall kill you by the sword. And your wives will be widows, and your children orphans. So, as you can see, that God's laws, his judgments, his testimonies, his decrees are of the utmost importance. And there is severe punishment for them if you go against these. When you will lend money to my people, to the poor person who is with you, do not act toward him as a creditor. Do not place interest upon him. If you will take your fellow's garment as security, until the sun sets, you shall have returned it to him. Okay, so this is talking about loaning to someone. Okay, let's say I loan to you $20. I shouldn't make you repay me more than $20, more than what I loaned you. If I loaned you $20, then all that's required for you to pay me back is only $20, not 21, not 22, not 23, and you get the point. So all that I loaned you, all you're required to pay me back is what I actually loaned you. And that's the morality. That's the moral way of going about. For it alone is the covering, and it is his garment for his skin. In what will he lie down? So it will be that if he cries out to me, I shall listen, for I am compassionate. You shall not curse a judge, and you shall not curse a leader among your people. You shall not delay your fullness offering of your teruma. The firstborn of your sons you shall present to me. So shall you do to your ox, to your flock. For a 7-day period it shall be with its mother. On the 8th day you may present it to me. People of holiness shall you be unto me, and flesh in the field that has been torn you shall not eat. You shall throw it to the dog. So basically, an animal that you find in the field, whether alive, whether dead, it has to be dead. If it's a dead carcass of an animal, whether it be a clean animal or an impure animal, you still can't take it and you can't eat it. You have to give it to the dog, it's saying, to the dog. You shall not bear a meritless report. Do not put your hand with an evil person to be a fraudulent witness. You shall not go after the many to do bad. You shall not respond over a dispute to tilt any after the many. You shall not glorify a destitute person in his dispute. When you will encounter an ox of your enemy or his donkey wandering, you shall surely return it to him. So if I see your donkey on the side of the road and I know it's your donkey, then I am obligated to bring this donkey back to you. I have to bring this donkey to you, back to its home, to its owner, which is you. You get what I'm saying? Do you understand the moral compass of these judgments that are being read, that these judgments are being spoken? The idea surround, like the base, the foundation of these judgments. It's basically like moral teachings. Basically, if you really come to the clear understanding of it, they're moral teachings. They really are. And once you start learning what the rabbis, what the teachers teach about these laws, these judgments, you get a better understanding of the inner depth of them. So, when you will encounter an ox of your enemy or his donkey wandering, you shall surely return it to him. Perhaps you will see the donkey of someone you hate lying under its burden. Will you refrain from helping him? So let's say I have an enemy. Let's say I have an enemy, and he doesn't like me. I don't like him. Let's say, and I see his donkey. Okay, I see his donkey. Should I help him or should I not help him? I don't like this guy. He's my enemy. Should I help the guy? What does God say? Let's see what do you think?
God say always say, forgive your enemy.
That's right. What does God say? What does Hashem say? Hashem says, you shall surely help along with him. You shall not pervert the judgment of your destitute person in his dispute.
Yeah.
So you shall not be corrupt. Distance yourself from a false word. Do not kill one who is innocent or one who is righteous, for I shall not exonerate a wicked person. You shall not take a bribe, for the bribe will blind those who can see and will make righteous words crooked. You shall not oppress a stranger. You know the soul of the stranger, for you are strangers in the land of Egypt. 6 years you shall sow your land, and you shall bring in its crop. And in the 7th year you shall let it go and leave it alone, and the destitute of your people shall eat, and the remnant of the beast of the field shall eat. You shall not do to your vineyard and to your olive grove. So shall you do to your vineyard and your olive grove. This is called the Shemitah cycle year. Every 7th year, you must stop planting your vegetation. You must stop planting vegetation every 7th year, and whatever is left over that you have in your fields, in your vineyards, needs to go to the poor. The widow needs to go to the destitute of the people, basically. The destitute of the people of Israel needs to go to them. You know what destitute means, right? Or no? Like the people who are, we'll just say, in distress, maybe, who are poor, who are needy, who are hungry, who have no clothes, who have very little material. For a 6-day period you shall do your work, and on the 7th day you shall desist, so that your ox and your donkey may be at ease, and your slave woman's son and the stranger may be refreshed. Be watchful of all I have said to you. The name of the gods of others you shall not mention, nor shall it become heard through your mouth. So basically, this is saying that you shouldn't even speak and utter the names of any foreign deity, any foreign false god, false idol. You shall not even speak their names. 3 times shall you celebrate for me during the year. You shall observe the festival of matzah, which is Passover, Pesach. For a 7-day period you shall eat matzah, as I have commanded you, and at the appointed time of the month of first ripened produce. For in it you left Egypt. They shall not be seen before me empty-handed. And the festival of the harvest of the first fruits of your labors that you sow in the field, and the festival of the bringing in at the close of the year, when you gather in your work from the field. 3 times during the year, all your malehood shall appear before the Lord, Hashem. You shall not slaughter the blood of my offering on chametz. Chametz it means leaven, something that, it means leavening, what people put in bread, yeast, Nor may fat of my festive offering remain overnight until morning. The earliest of the first fruits of your land you shall bring to the house of Hashem, your God. You shall not cook a tender young animal in its mother's milk. Behold, I send an angel before you to protect you on the way, and to bring you to the place that I have prepared. Beware of him. Hearken to his voice. Do not disobey him, for he will not forgive your transgression, for my name is within him. For if you hearken to his voice and do all that I shall speak, then I shall be the enemy of your enemies, and I shall oppress your oppressors. For my angel shall go before you and bring you to the Amorite, to the Hittite, to the Perizzite, and to the Canaanite, the Hivite, and the Jebusite, and I will annihilate them. You shall not prostrate yourself to their gods, and you shall not worship them. You shall not act according to their practices. Rather, you shall demolish them, and you shall smash their standing stones. You shall worship Hashem your God, and he shall bless your bread and your water, and I will remove illness from your midst. So this is God presenting himself as the sovereign ruler and commanding that we worship him and that we not deviate and we not stray to the left or to the right and begin to follow after pagans, false idols, false gods. And that God will help us and he will destroy our enemies if we do this, if we obey his commandments. He will destroy our enemies. There shall be no woman who loses her young or is infertile in your land. I shall fill the number of your days. Hold on, I think I read that wrong. It says, hold on. There shall be no woman who loses her young or is infertile in your land. I shall fill the number of your days. I shall send my fear before you, and I shall confuse the entire people among whom you shall come. And I shall make all your enemies turn the back of the neck to you. I shall send the Tzirah before you, and it will drive away the Hivite, the Canaanite, and the Hittite before you. I shall not drive them away from you in 1 year, lest the land will become desolate, and the beasts of the field will increase over you. Little by little shall I drive them away from before you, until you will become fruitful and make the land your heritage. I shall place your border from the sea of reeds until the sea of the Philistines, and from the wilderness until the river. For I shall deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hands, and you will drive them away from before you. You shall not seal a covenant with them or with their gods. They shall not dwell in your land, lest they cause you to sin against me. In that you will worship their gods, which will be a hazard for you. So God is saying, don't make deals with idolaters. Don't make deals with them. Don't go after. This will help you not go after their ways. This will help us if we're not going to make deals with these idolaters. This will help us to stay on the proper path of Hashem, of God, not to make deals with something that is not from God. I'm going to keep reading, all right?
Okay.
We're in chapter 24, verse 1. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. To Moses he said, go up to Hashem, you, Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, and you shall prostrate yourselves from a distance, and Moses shall approach by himself toward Hashem, but they shall not approach, and the people shall not go up with him. Moses came and told the people all the words of Hashem and all the laws. And the entire people responded with one voice, and they said, all the words that Hashem has spoken, we will do. This is the Torah. Moses wrote all the words of Hashem. He rose early in the morning and built an altar at the foot of the mountain and 12 standing stones for the 12 tribes of Israel. He sent the youths of the children of Israel, and they brought up Olah offerings. Olah offerings means burnt offerings, like they burned the animal on the altar. And they slaughtered bulls to Hashem as peace offerings to Hashem. Moses took half the blood and placed it in basins, and half the blood he sprinkled upon the altar. He took the book of the covenant and read in earshot of the people, and they said, everything that Hashem has said we will do, and we will obey. Moses took the blood and sprinkled it upon the people, and he said, behold, the blood of the covenant that Hashem sealed with you concerning all these matters. Moses and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and the 70 elders of Israel ascended. They saw the God of Israel, and under his feet was that which had the form of a sapphire brick, and was like the appearance of the heavens in purity. And to the nobles of the children of Israel he did not send forth his hand. They viewed God, yet they ate and drank. Hashem said to Moses, ascend to me, to the mountain, and be there, and I shall give you the tablets of stone and the Torah, and the commandment that I have written to instruct them. Okay, so I made a mistake. This is the giving of the Torah. This is all of the instructions being spoken, the Torah being spoken. So not the last book. This is not the last portion, but this portion is the giving of the Torah, or part. It's. I think it's in other. Yeah. So this is Moses arose, and Joshua his servant. And Moses ascended to the mountain of God, and to the elders he said, "Wait for us here until we return to you. Behold, Aaron and Hur are with you. Whoever has words should approach them." Moses ascended the mountain, and the cloud covered the mountain. The glory of Hashem rested upon Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it for a 6-day period. He called to Moses on the 7th day from the midst of the cloud. The appearance of the glory of Hashem was like a consuming fire on the top of the mountain before the eyes of the children of Israel. Moses came in the midst of the cloud and ascended the mountain. And Moses was on the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights. All right, well, the 40 days and 40 nights that Moses was up on the mountain, Mount Sinai, God was teaching him the how to keep the Torah. How to keep the Torah. And Moses is supposed to how to do these commandments. And Moses is supposed to give it to the Israelites to teach them. All right. Well, that does it for Mishpatim. And I have read a message in the Sefer. You see this book? Like I always do. So we're in Mishpatim. This is Exodus. Oops. All right. So I'm just going to read an overview of what I just read. All right? All right. Mishpatim means laws. After giving the Torah to the Jewish people, God told Moses to go up to Mount Sinai again, this time for 40 days, in order to teach him the details of the Torah's laws. The 6th section of the book of Exodus is primarily a selection of the laws, which is the word Mishpatim. The title of our Torah portion, that God taught Moses while he was on Mount Sinai. So, all right, I'm gonna read something from it's the Friday, the 6th reading of this book, so of this Torah portion. The title is called 2 Aspects of Spiritual Health. All right, God continued with the laws governing the conquest of the land of Israel and the eradication of idolatry. Meaning the uprooting of idolatry, the destruction of idolatry. All right, 2 aspects of spiritual health. God told Moses to tell the Jewish people, "I will remove illness from your midst. I will take away your sickness." Shortly after the Exodus, God promised the Jewish people, "I will bring none of the sicknesses that I brought on Egypt upon you," meaning that no one would get sick in the first place. Why then did he promise us here that he will heal us whenever we do get sick? So there are 2 types of sicknesses: natural sicknesses, which we expect to occur when we do not take care of ourselves properly, and unnatural sicknesses that are obviously acts of God. Regarding unnatural sicknesses, God says, "I will bring none of these upon you in the first place." Regarding natural sicknesses, God says, "I will remove these from you when they do occur." Similarly, There are two types of spiritual sicknesses. Succumbing to a lust for something that the Torah prohibits makes us spiritually sick, hampering our ability to function in full spiritual health. This is a natural, expected result of transgressing the Torah's prohibitions. This is a natural, expected result of transgressing the Torah's prohibitions. It is also true, however, that repeated overindulgence in things that the Torah does allow also impairs our spiritual health. It hurts our spiritual health. This is an unnatural effect, which we would not necessarily expect, since, after all, these practices are permitted. Nonetheless, if we are sufficiently dedicated and devoted to God, He promises to cure us of the ill effects of both natural and unnatural temporary spiritual lapses. So, to break it down for you, do you know the part of God? Have you heard of God being able to heal? This is probably a dumb question. Do you know that God heals? Have you heard of that? Okay. So there are basically this is saying that there's several forms of sicknesses that we can have. We can get sick spiritually, and we can get sick physically. The spiritual sickness is more of something that is not natural, but the physical sickness is natural. So do you know how we could be healthy in the physical way, how we could have healthy physical bodies, and how we can keep away ourselves from physical illness? Do you know how we can do that? How we can keep away from physical illness, like sickness. How can we do this? How do we become? What do we do to become healthy? To be healthy. How can we become healthy people? No, I'm just saying, how can people become healthy in general? We can eat vegetables, we can eat fruit, we can eat clean meat, we can eat not so much, and also not to overindulge and eat too much. Not too much sugar, not too much bread. There's many ways we can eat food and have it help us. And also, we can work out, we can be physical and active, we can run, we can exercise. All these things help us to become physically healthy. Also, there's a spiritual side of our health as well. And the Torah teaches, and the teachers of the Torah teaches that not only do we need physical health, not only do we need spiritual health and spiritual health, but we also need the physical health. So we need both parts of purity. We need purity physically with our health, and purity with our physical health, and we need purity with our spiritual health. So we just explained how we can what we can do to become physically healthy. Now let's talk about what we can do to become spiritually healthy. Do you know, how can we become spiritually healthy? Do you understand that question?
Yeah.
How can we become? So I'll help you out. To the spiritual aspects of our bodies, of our own lives, how we can feed it in a good way is basically many ways. For an example, if we speak kindly to one another, if we have a good character, and if we are, like it says here, nonetheless, if we are sufficiently dedicated and devoted to God, He promises to cure us of all the ill effects of both natural and unnatural temporary spiritual lapses. So basically, if you're working on your character and you're moving forward, you're not just, thinking about the growth, and you're not just wanting the growth, but you're actually moving forward, and you're growing, and you're learning how to be a better human being than you were yesterday, than you were the day before. This is how we can build spiritual health, is if we are actually moving forward, not just thinking about it and desiring it, and even trying, because you must actually get to the point where you do find yourself growing. You can't, like I said, you can't just keep thinking about it and speaking about it and feeling it in a good way. Oh, this is positive. Maybe if I think of good things that I can do, maybe this will make me a better person. It's not all entirely true. You need to actually come to a point of growth. You need to actually find yourself growing. And that's the main, and we're responsible for that, partly, of our growth. We're responsible of our own growth. We really are. We are, responsible of our own growth and our own learning, our own spiritual, physical growth. Also, yeah. So it's important that, and also when we do these things, when we are spiritually put together, when we are spiritually growing and also physically growing healthily, God will shine his benevolence on us, his beneficence on us, and He will show us His healing. He will show us His mercy, His compassion, His forgiveness. He'll show us His healing. All of these things that have positive aspects to them. Yeah. So do you understand what I'm talking about? Kind of like about growth, and about not just any kind of growth, but both spiritual, healthy growth, mental growth. You get that, right? How the importance of it leads us to forgiveness, to God's mercy, to God's healing us of the things that we have no control over, that we don't have much control over. So what we read in this Torah portion, all these laws that God expects us, as commanding us, the Jewish people to keep and to do. And all these commandments pertain to both physical and spiritual health, spiritual and physical health. So yeah, well, that is it for that message, and I will